This is the newsroom.
This is the newsroom for Friday, May 16, 2025. We're broadcasting to you on E1, SKAR TV, NTN, and TARZEE TV in Bartica. In headlines, the Army Chief says Venezuelans living in Guyana will be deported if they vote in May 25 elections.
You can't vote in a country of yours and come to our country and believe everything will be okay.
Health partners exploring a new initiative to tackle addiction in Guyana. In Region 1, small solar panels have a big impact on households. And in sport, Raekwon Noel bags another gold medal and Roston Chase is the new West Indies Test captain. With the news, I'm Vashani Raghunath. Thank you for joining us. Tensions between Guyana and Venezuela have risen as the Spanish-speaking nation plans an election for the Essequibo region, and Guyana's Chief of Defense Staff, Brigadier Omar Khan, warned that there will be serious consequences for anyone in Guyana who votes in these elections. The Chief of Defense Staff told reporters that any Venezuelan living in Guyana who votes in the May 25 election will be arrested and then deported. Now, the two countries have been grappling with a border controversy for decades. Guyana has taken the case to the International Court of Justice, seeking a final binding ruling that the Essequibo is its own, affirming the 1899 arbitral award that settled the border between the two countries. Now, Venezuela announced that it intends to hold elections in the Essequibo region, an area internationally recognized as Guyana's territory, and has been under Guyana's administration for over 100 years. The World Court said the Venezuelan election plan, scheduled for May 25, 2025, must not go ahead.
Yes. We got knowledge of it. We arrest you and deport you. Yes, Venezuelans, yes. You can't vote in a country of yours and come to our country and believe everything will be okay. No. I think we are peaceful enough to understand that we know where you're coming from, because for whatever reason, and for a betterment in Guyana. The Guyana Defense Force is not a force of uniform alone. You are part of the Guyana Defense Force. Every citizen. And we have been receiving information from the general public along our border communities, in Georgetown, across Guyana, of information that we have acted on and will continue to act on. So, someone participating in such an election will eventually get to us.
The Maritime Administration Department, called MARD, is dealing with an oil spill incident involving a vessel which is moored alongside the Demerara Sugar Terminal, Rheinville, Georgetown.
The Maritime Administration Department, MARAD, responded to an oil spill involving the Arroyat, a Palau flag vessel, here at the Demerara Sugar Terminal in Rheinville, Georgetown. The vessel entered Port Georgetown on Thursday to load a shipment of rice. MARAD, in a statement, said that the department was notified of the spill at about 1700 hours on Thursday afternoon. In response, the National Emergency Response Team, comprising of MARAD, the Civil Defense Commission CDC, the Defense Force Coast Guard, were mobilized to assess the situation. Efforts were made to contain the spill, as an investigation was also launched to determine the cause of the incident. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Isanela Patwo.
As the collaboration between the government and Guyana and Northwell Health, a United States non-profit healthcare service provider, deepens, a new healthcare initiative to improve psychiatry service here is being explored.
Dr. Eric Pina, the Vice President of the Center for Global Health, Northwell Health, recently said the team working in Guyana is exploring mental health programs that can be developed here. A team from Northwell visited in April when a cardiology program was launched with the support of the George Subraj Family Foundation. Through that engagement, discussions on further support were advanced.
We actually brought down the first addiction psychiatrist to the country. He now works at Northwell. We recently hired him, and he's talking about creating a subspecialty fellowship in addiction medicine for the graduates of a psychiatry program, so we could have addiction specialists that are Guyanese.
He said based on data, it is notable that trauma, cardiovascular disease, and non-communicable diseases are a major health risk. More so, the after effects of trauma have led to the life-altering situations such as mental health and substance abuse. A massive concern the initiative is likely to address is the healthcare response to substance abuse, such as alcohol. To do this, the doctors will form a team of neurologists and psychiatrists, among other specialists.
We tie it, because you're right that there is a little stigma around those diseases, right? So we tie it to brain health, and we tie it to the stroke care that we want to do. And we say, this is just human brain health. So we don't want you to have strokes. We don't want you to be depressed or anxious. And we don't want you to use substances to the point where you're impaired.
Following a program developed by the World Health Organization, WHO, Northwell Health intends to use community-level influence and training to tackle addiction, which leads to several health risk factors. Reporting for the newsroom, Lazina Yearwood.
We tell you now that amid serious foreign currency constraints in Trinidad and Tobago, Vice President Dr. Bartica believes that some locals are supplying the money to Trinidadians, a venture that is contributing to a spike in domestic demand. Dr. Jagdia addressed foreign currency concerns at his Thursday press conference at Freedom House, the People's Progressive Party civic headquarters.
Over the last few years, we have witnessed a phenomenon here where we believe that some of the invoices submitted by companies are inflated because they're local companies but inflated invoices, so that when the payment goes to their suppliers, it's for goods that would go into Trinidad and Tobago. Secondly, some of the cambios and banks, to a lesser extent the banks, are now selling the currency to Trinidadians who come here, foreign currency, to them, because they come here to get the foreign currency. And then thirdly, you have some local companies now that are capitalizing on the arbitrage. So they buy from the banks and the cambios at maybe 216 or so, and they're selling to the Trinidadians at 220, 224. They're making money now on the side. So we have a big additional demand now, apart from the growth generally of the economy and the increase in consumer goods, intermediate goods, capital goods import to $9 billion now. We also have this new demand. So we are, when it takes 2 weeks to get foreign currency here, you check what happens in another country, just neighboring. You will see what is really going on. But we have enough resources to intervene in the market. I've dealt with this in the past, to ensure that the domestic demand, even in the enhanced domestic demand, which is for legitimate purposes, will be satisfied.
Still to come, we tell you about the impact of the solar power project in Region 1. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. Vice President Dr. Bartica said there's already power sharing in Ghana's legislature and emphasized that any further efforts in this regard require a great deal of trust among all political players. But he believes that intermittent calls for shared governance are for power sharing at the executive level. Such a venture, he believes, requires much trust to prevent any deadlocks in decision making.
The Rights Commission, the Procurement Commission, the four service commissions, the Parliamentary Management Committee with five chaired by the Speaker. Before that, it used to be only the executive control the Parliament. The reduction of the powers of the President, the position where with the appointment of the Chancellor and the Chief Justice, you have to have agreement between the opposition and the government. All of these were major attempts to shared power at the level of the Parliament. Even in the management, we put in place, apart from the Service Commission, 4 sectoral committees that would review government's policies in every area, in social services, economic services, foreign affairs, and natural resources. And we decided to rotate the chair of these sectoral committees in the Parliament. We have a unique constitution, and many of the measures that we put in place are not in the constitutions or the laws of most Commonwealth countries, because we recognize the need to share power at the level of the legislature, and that's being done now. I suspect they're all talking about executive power sharing, but we made it clear, and I hope that Gulsaran and the others, in a clear assessment as to why executive power sharing will not work in the absence of trust, and would examine the conditions that the PPP said we set ourselves to explore this even further.
For years, residents of riverine and hinterland communities grappled with dark nights and limited electricity access that came at a high cost. Now, through the Solar Home Energy Initiative, households are being powered with electricity produced from the sun, a venture that brings relief to many. Now, I traveled to several Region 1 communities last weekend and heard of the project's impact from residents themselves.
Playing football in this field, a tiny community in Region 1. The boys might go to Fiona's little shop just across the field when they're done playing. Here, they might get sweets or a cold beverage. Fiona Benjamin, the owner and a mother of 4, runs this shop to help support her family.
I'm self-employed. I do that because I'm also a mom of 4 children. So in order to get snacks money whatever for them on a daily basis, so I do it as well. When I sell groceries, digital top-up, sometimes a few clothing as well.
Mora, like many other remote hinterland communities, is not yet on an electricity grid, so the power supply here is limited. Fiona uses a small generator to power the freezer in her shop.
It works sometimes 3 to 4 hours maximum, and I use half gallon of gas good at time. Well, if you want to power it more, you put more. So that's how it works. But it's kind of difficult for the business as well, but I try to maintain it as well.
Generators and the fuel needed to power them are expensive, so they're mostly used by business owners. Since 2023, however, the government has been trying to provide electricity access to households through its Solar Home Energy project for hinterland and riverine communities. Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell, who has the parliamentary responsibility for Region 1, distributed dozens of these panels to residents last weekend. About 30,000 of these solar panel systems were distributed in 2023 and 2024, benefiting about 137,000 people in about 245 hinterland and riverine communities. This year, more than 7,200 systems are being distributed to additional households. Each solar system provides just 160 watts of electricity, enough to power a light and a fan and charge small devices like cell phones. In Paro, another tiny Region 1 community where residents got more solar panel systems last weekend, Kester Fredericks says residents aren't using kerosene lamps for lights anymore.
Going back to that time, it mainly was like lamps, the small lamps. And who could afford a generator? They used to use the generator with the lights. Gasoline is very expensive in the area, so it saves a lot. Yes, some of the people income.
In Santa Rosa, 88-year-old Anna Griffith has electric lights for the first time ever.
We used to use lamp.
How long you remember using lamp?
Since me was a child, we use lamp. This one, it just come on 5 o'clock. This electricity. And then it closed about something after 11. Yes. Then in the morning again, it come on about 5 again. So we go on during the day till midday.
Back in Mora, Fiona will be helping other women set up the panels for their households. Once the panels are in place, the residents will be able to flip their switches and get electricity in their homes. Reporting for the newsroom, Vishani Raghabir.
An action plan expected to help address the challenge of prolonged flooding during the rainy seasons in Georgetown will be completed, presented, and moved to implementation soon. The Mayor of Georgetown, Alfred Mentor, on Thursday during an interview with the newsroom, said the city engineer is compiling the information which will take into consideration. This plan will address areas that are clogged as well as areas that have not been addressed under the central government's portfolio.
We have an action plan put in place, and the engineer is currently working on that particular plan to provide it to us so that we could finance it. I think the collaboration between what central government has been doing, but through the NDIA and to some extent the Ministry of Public Works, he's supposed to get up those information. The reason why he wasn't able to give fiat it last Monday is because of that. So when he gets that, and get from those two ministries, whatever, then we will see what other areas we will address. This council is not a broke place. We have enough resources, and as long as we could generate those resources and budget accordingly, we honor our obligation.
The restoration of the iconic City Hall building is expected to be completed this year, fulfilling the commitment of preserving its history while modernizing the infrastructure. City Mayor Alfred Mentor on Thursday said the $780 million project is moving at pace despite several delays before. He noted that the project is being co-managed, but the majority of it is being done by the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development.
It's our property, it's an asset of the council. We again provided the feasibility study, which was financed by the European Union at the time, to the tune of about, I think, £250,000. Yes, at the time. It was pounds at the time. So they financed that study, which was used by central government to spend and to finance. I think the spending was about $800 and something million to renovate it, if I'm right. I think there were some variations which has taken that a bit out of the 800 and it's probably gone to $1 billion and whatever. I'm aware of whatever happening. I don't have the exact amounts, but I think that is where we are on that. I guess in our most recent visit with the European Union, who wanted to take a spot check of it, it looked like this is May. They said about June, July, it's going to be ready. I haven't been back there for 3 months now, so I'll probably take another visit to establish when I think it should be ready. And but I guess, central government will do what they have to do.
When the news returns to financial, weather, and bridge reports, along with sport news. Stay with us. Welcome back to the newsroom, and we start things off with some swimming news. Guyanese swimmer Raekwon Noel has continued his impressive form at the inaugural Pan Am Aquatics Championships in Colombia, securing his second gold medal and lowering another national record, this time in the 200 meters butterfly. Noel commanded the final, touching the wall at 2 minutes 53 seconds to claim the gold. The gold medal winning time also represented a new Guyanese national record, and notably, Noel had already lowered the national record in the prelims. This latest triumph follows his winning performance in the 100 meters butterfly in the championships, where he also set a national record. Cricket West Indies has announced strategic adjustments to its one-day international squad for the upcoming tours of Ireland and England. These adjustments were necessitated by the availability of players currently involved in the Indian Premier League. John Campbell and Jediah Blades have been called into the squad, while Sherfane Rutherford and Romario Shepherd will remain in India to fulfill their IPL commitments. Shamar Joseph retains his place in the touring party. John Campbell is set to feature in the Ireland leg of the tour, replacing Sherfane Rutherford. Shimron Hetmeyer, unavailable for the matches against Ireland, is expected to join the squad for the subsequent series against England. 2 series run from May 21 to June 3. Head coach Darren Sammy said despite the missing players, the squad has the depth to be competitive.
Initially, a 15-man squad was named, but based on discussions and so on, squad has been trimmed to 14. Can you just elaborate on the changes and the reason?
Yeah, well, with the IPL going along, some of our key players in Sherfane and Shepherd, with their teams in the playoff position, and they will miss the Ireland ODI series. John Campbell comes in, and the rest of the squad remains the same. Just looking at these 2 tours, Ireland and England, we just have to. It gives us an opportunity to see other players as well. We know, we will miss Sherfane. He was one of the ODI players of the year, and what he did for us at number 5 was tremendous. But it also gives us another opportunity to see someone else in that position by the time they come back. And Sherfane, again, the all-round skills they bring, but this squad is fully equipped with so many all-rounders that bring different Justin Greaves, Roston Chase, all these guys. So we didn't cover that position for Romario Shepherd.
Roston Chase has been appointed the new West Indies Test captain. The West Indies Cricket Board of Directors unanimously approved the appointment today, May 16, at a meeting. It marks a return to the Test arena for the 33-year-old Barbadian, who last played against South Africa in Johannesburg in March 2023. His first assignment will be hosting Australia for 3 Test matches, the first of which starts June 25 in Barbados. CWI had been actively interviewing a pool of candidates to succeed Craig Brathwaite, who stepped down earlier this year. That list reportedly included Chase, Joshua Da Silva, Tevin Imlach, John Campbell, Justin Greaves, and Jamel Warrican. Despite his absence from the Test side, Chase has remained a consistent member of Darren Sammy's white ball squads. All systems are as good as some of the nation's top cyclists are set to be on show for the 42nd edition of the National Sports Commission Independence 3-Stage Road, which will be held on Saturday and Sunday. Details in this report.
Jointly organized by the Guyana Cycling Federation and the National Sports Commission, the race will take place on Saturday, May 17th and Sunday, May 18th, promising a stern test of endurance and tactics. This year's race will see a return of some of the traditional routes at first featured in its early years, according to the GCF official. The event, the first conceptualized by former national cycling coach Hassan Mohammed in 1983, remains a cornerstone of Guyanese sport calendar. The schedule for the 2-day event is as follows. In Stage 1 on Saturday, which starts at 7:30, commencing at the Caribbean Police Station and finishing in New Amsterdam. Stage 2 on Saturday as well will start at 14 hours and it will start at the Burbage River Bridge and concluding at Liniendal. The stage will incorporate sections of the historical origin route with a peloton turning onto the old Maikoni Road after crossing the Maikoni Bridge, then right onto the traditional Drill Road. Riders will rejoin the route to the new Mahika Bridge, turning right onto the old Mahika Road and route to the finish. Stage 3 on Sunday, May 18th, will also start at 7:30. Due to ongoing road works on the Linden-Suzek Highway, the final stage will be contested as a circuit race on the east bank of Demerara. Starting in the Eccles community, the circuit race begins at the Eccles Dumpside Road, heading west, turning left at the Windsor Forest Estate towards Red Road and Providence before looping back to the Heroes Highway. Each lap is approximately 2 miles, with riders completing 30 laps for a total distance of 60 miles. Overall, the entire race should encapsulate 165 miles. The staging of this year's race was initially uncertain, but a decisive intervention by the National Sports Commission early in the week provided crucial support. Following directive engagement with the nation's leading cycling clubs on Monday, the NSC underscored the continued importance of the race not only as a key sporting fixture, but also as a symbol of national unity, a platform for youth development, and a celebration of Guyana's sporting heritage. This intervention and subsequent dialogue were instrumental in ensuring the race was restored to the schedule and moved widely welcomed by the cycling community and the public.
A contingent of 5 Guyanese squash players has arrived in Paraguay to participate in a high-performance training camp, marking a significant step in their athletic development and activating a key bilateral agreement between the Guyana Olympic Association and the Paraguayan Olympic Committee. The 5 squash players invited to the inaugural camp are a blend of established national representatives and promising talents. They are Mary Fungafat, Carson Gomes, Samuel Lins Carval, Luis de Silva, and Marian Baksh. During their week-long stay in Paraguay, the athletes will undergo a comprehensive program designed to elevate their game. And with that, we've come to the end of this evening's newscast. Of course, you can find these and other stories at our website, newsroom.gy, and across all our social media pages, Newsroom Guyana. On behalf of the news and technical teams, I'm Vishani Raghavir. Thank you for joining.